a chance for either Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to get their first NBA championship, or it'll be Luka Doncic. Kyrie Irving's trying to get his second NBA championship. Kristaps Porzingis and Kyrie Irving face their respective former teams, and Jason Kidd is going for a title as both a Mavs player and a coach. As it was noted that the last time the Mavericks, it was said earlier when they played the Heat, the last time that the Mavericks made it to the NBA Finals, and before this year, believe it or not, actually no, it was a couple years ago, but up until the Mavericks made it to the Western Conference Finals a couple years ago, they hadn't won a playoff series since 2011, and so now we see the difference that Luka and especially Kyrie have made with this team. But yeah, Jason Kidd, he led the Mavericks to the NBA Finals the last time that they made it as a player. Now he's trying to do it as a coach. And so, Jaevon, do your best. Put bias aside. How do you look at this series overall?
Feeling going a little bit back and forth on this one. Obviously, Luka Doncic and the Mavs, Kyrie Irving, are on fire essentially. I'd say since about March, like late March. I saw Rachel Nichols say something about them having like a personal team meeting with, I think it was a players only meeting that they had about their defense and how they needed to defend. And I think since I believe it was late March till now, they've been like one of the better defensive teams in the league. So they've really stepped up defensively in this playoffs, for sure, from Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. A lot of people, I'd say, for the past couple of years saying that Kyrie Irving wasn't a good defender. I've always noticed that Kyrie has definitely stepped up his defense in the playoffs. And I've always thought that he's been a solid defender, not like a, all defensive type team, but a guy who you can't really hunt for one-on-ones and for switches. It's not really a guy that you can hunt for in Kyrie Irving. Now the Celtics have been, I believe, the best team in basketball since February, and kind of just been on autopilot ever since then. Each series that they played in has gone no more than 5 games. Now you can say that the East has been battered and bruised, but so have the Celtics. The Celtics have been playing undermanned for the majority of this playoff series without one of their best players in Kristaps Porzingis, who we will see in this NBA Finals. I do think that he could have played in the Indiana Pacers series, but the Celtics obviously ended up sweeping them, going up 2-0, then going up 3-0. You kind of looked at it, was like, now, do we really need Porzingis to win the series? The answer was no. So I think we'll see him. He's been practicing with the team now for several weeks. And I'm just confident in, obviously Jaylen Brown, who won the Larry Bird Award, which is the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. And you had Jason Tatum, who a lot of people were saying he didn't play that well in the Indiana pit. He averaged 30. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. I think the Celtics win probably in 6 games. I wanted to say 5 so bad. But Luka Doncic, man, he's gonna average 35 in the series. That's for sure. I've been going back and forth with our guy Ev. He, like I said earlier in the podcast, he's calling me every day, waiting until the finals come around. I'm gonna be calling you every day. Him and my cousin, they like to torment me over the phone and say that I don't know basketball and we don't have championship experience. And the only guy that we have on the roster is Drew Holiday, who's the old guy in the room. Who would you rather have? Is it Kyrie, or would you rather have Drew Holiday? Obviously, I'd rather have Kyrie. We could have had something special with Kyrie. Kyrie could have been – he was a Celtic. It just got weird at the end, and, he had the thing where he was saying he plans on resigning the summer, and I was so happy when that video came out. And then, things changed, and obviously went down a shithole. But I think Celtics win at 6.
Burning sage.
I think Luka Doncic is just – I think Luka and Kyrie are probably going to average – Kyrie's going to average probably 25, 27, probably 28 the series. Luka's probably going to average 35. I feel like outside of those two, we have seen P.J. Walker and guys like Derrick Jones Jr. kind of be those 2 X factors that have been playing out of this world. And Daniel Gafford has been a guy who's been an X factor for them as well, who was also acquired at the trade deadline alongside with PJ Washington. So those guys are going to be the guys that will have to step up in this series. As far as the Celtics go, I just think we have a lot of guys who can score the basketball at a high rate. We have obviously Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, who is an all first team, all NBA caliber player. After that, we have guys like Drew Holiday who can step up, I believe, on a night in and night out basis. We have guys like Derek White, who for some reason my cousin thinks Derek White is the MVP of our team. You could argue what he brings to the table is essential from just an all around standpoint with defense and scoring the basketball. But I think Derek White's going to be huge for us in the series. And then you have obviously Kristaps Porzingis coming back, who's going to be huge for us. Now the Celtics have been playing well without him, but I feel like with him, they're obviously a cheat code, and he's a huge reason why this team was overall the number one overall rated team in this playoffs and in the NBA. That is so. I got the Celtics winning in 6 games. Now that doesn't mean that Kyrie Irving and Luka aren't going to play their ass off, which I do believe is inevitable of happening because they put the best defensive team in a blender. And that was the Minnesota Timberwolves. So I believe the Celtics are the highest offensive rated team in the NBA. So we're going to see a masterclass from an ISO perspective with Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. All those guys are tremendous ISO basketball players. And I think it's going to be a very exciting series. The Celtics are favored to win the series. I think they're minus 250, 220. I'll look that up once we get one of our guys to come on after I've, done giving my little soliloquy about the Celtics. But I do think that Jason Tatum wins his first ring. A lot of people are saying that, Luka Doncic, man, he's that guy. I feel like his time is coming. I just don't think it's right now. I think the Mavs are going to be a team to watch out for in the future. But as of right now, I do think it's just the Celtics' time, man. Like they've been to the conference finals.
You're praying at your time.
6 out of 8 years.
It's been time for 8 years.
Been to the conference or been to the NBA finals in 2 of the last 3 years. So I just feel like with those two guys and how young that they are and how many playoff games they've played together, I think they're like one of the top 3 or 5 guys that played the duo that has played the most playoff games without a championship ring. So Kevin was probably going there. But I think it's just the Celtics' time. They have everything's kind of right in front of them. They just have to go out and take it. So I'm going to go with the Celtics in 6 games.
So for those of you who may not know, and you think about Kristaps Porzingis, and we remember the time that he spent with the Washington Wizards. But fun fact, apparently, according to the Athletic, the key to winning an NBA title, Gary, is the past 7 seasons, it's been to have a former Wizard on the roster. So you go
teams got one.
Yeah, exactly. So you go all the way back to 2017-18. You got Shaun Livingston and JaVale McGee that played for Golden State. 2019, Jody Meeks played for Toronto. 2020, Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, Markieff Morris, they all played for the Lakers. 2021, Bobby Portis played for the Bucks. 2022, Otto Porter Jr. and Gary Payton II played for the Warriors. 2023, you had KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Thomas Bryant, and Ish Smith all on the Nuggets. And then this year, obviously, you have Kristaps Porzingis on the Boston Celtics. And then on the Dallas Mavericks, just recently got traded away from the Wizards, is Daniel Gafford, who has had a great playoff run. And the Athletic, they also credited someone named @Jabari with 4 underscores. So shout out to Jabari, who is clearly a DC fan of all sports. Anyways, that's just a fun nugget that I wanted to mention. Gary, how do you feel about this upcoming NBA Finals? Because I know I already saw your pick. You guys were sending it in the Stats Over Politics Fantasy Football group chat, so I know where Gary's headed on this, unless he's changed his mind in the last week. But please share it with our listeners.
Well, man, oh man. Guys, I'm just wanting to say I'm glad we have this matchup. For the love of basketball and really the student of the game, this is about to be an epic matchup, in my opinion. And this is about to be epic finals. I think so. And I'm happy this match, not because I didn't want the Nuggets to be there. I just feel like the Nuggets are playing the Celtics. It's about to be a mismatch just because of how big and dominant they are. So both teams kind of play small ball, even though we know Mavericks have two bigs. But like Vaughn mentioned, they have bigs as well that can cope and can tolerate their size as well. Obviously, they got Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown as two big guards. You also then have the defense of people like he already mentioned, like Derek White and Drew Holiday, Al Horford doing his thing on this team. Vaughn went through all the Celtics great. The whole way have been playing extremely well. And, even they lost, I think, 2 games on this way, Vaughn, to getting to where they are so far. Like you've been saying, they've been handling business, and people have been, saying that they're supposed to get to this spot. And, they can't choose who they're supposed to play. They can't choose who's healthy or not. So at the end, that they're in the championship. Sometimes you get a little luck that bounces your way. Sometimes you don't. They had a little luck bounce their way, and they had to prove it too, and they had to get to their team. So they are where they are today. But man, oh man, this Mavericks team has maybe as a Kings fan, I see it from this perspective. Kevin might too. I don't know why. I do feel like they catapulted, if I can say that word correctly. The week the Kings played them back-to-back in a 1-week span, we lost both games by very, very little. And we actually lost, I think, by the Luka game winner where he was talking shit to the sideline to our previous GM, and we all seen that video go viral.
Bet on that game. Shout out to
and
Carter.
So, man, oh, man. After that, I feel like after that, they took the 4th to 5th seed. They had that by the Reigns, and after they just been on a winning streak because that was post-trade deadline, I believe. And so this team has basically a new identity, and you've seen it throughout the whole playoffs. They literally have 2 players who they play pick and roll with 2 big men who literally know everything and what they're supposed to do, and a rookie who's been playing magical in his own way. They've been playing with guys who were literally thrown in the shitter last year. I think y'all were making jokes about Mr. PJ Washington. I swear to God, y'all were by the
Not
work.
because of basketball, though.
Yeah, because of the work, because of the sideline off of the work. And so, whatever you want to call it, his off the field shenanigans, which he got himself caught into. And man, oh man, he is proving every people wrong. It just shows, man, the guys they picked up in Gafford. There's always trade deadline doesn't really work that often. I think we only seen really LeBron teams really work other than that. People who don't really make big trade deadline moves that much, and it usually doesn't pan out unless you need 1 or 2 key veteran, usually pick up here or there. And so then you just see that picking up players who are in bad situations but in the right fit can turn out so wonderfully. And they got a deep bench that people are going to find out about. Derrick Jones Jr. has been playing great. I haven't mentioned Kleba didn't even play that much this series because he's injured. He's been good. Green has been good. Hardaway Jr. has been sitting the bench, and he's also a great player that's probably going to get some pull in the offseason too. So this team, it's going to be nip and tuck, guys. In terms of basketball, like you just mentioned, Vaughn, the best team defensively just got put into shambles, literally. And they were playing great in every which way, and they got put into shambles. And so I just feel like it's going to be close every game. And you guys might hit 1 game, 2 games where they're going to be at the park 3-pointers where they're just not going to be able to catch up to the 3-pointers you guys make and maybe the aggression you guys have and things of that nature. But I just feel like the way Luka and Kyrie play, they're going to have waves. And one good thing I think really good about this matchup is that Tatum and Brown, the problem was Ant had to guard a lot, as we know. And Tatum and Brown are going to have to guard Luka and Kyrie, but not as much because we just mentioned they got 2 pit bulls right behind them, and Derek White and Drew Holiday are going to be helping them out. So I really feel like it's going to be close games coming down to the very end. And Vaughn, your team has proven in this run a little bit that they can actually handle clutch time. Like this Pacers, they handled clutch time very well, as we know. And that's actually been one of their problems they had previously all year. But before you zoom in any much closer, Vaughn, stop right there, buddy, because this team is about to lose in Game 6. And maybe even Game 7, but I'm going to go with Game 6. I got Dallas. I don't know why it's so disrespectful of them being like this much underdog. I think it should be a 50-50 pick 'em. And because the best player on the floor is Luka Doncic, and the second best player is Jason Tatum. And yeah, you could say you could throw it up 50-50. Yeah, you probably could. But this run, I do feel like he's playing better. And I just feel like Kyrie in clutch time, they're going to be going for threes. And this team has been going for mid-range game winners. Mid-range game winners, Kyrie, Luka, pull-ups, just mid-range shots where they're not going to be able to stop them. And they're going to be taught a lesson well, yeah, you guys think it's your time, and it should be probably your time. And I wish he kind of does give your time because I do feel like the disrespect on Tatum is very high, and I don't feel he deserves that much. But at the end of the day, instead of I think it's opposite with Vaughn. He thinks it's Tatum's time. I think it's Luka's time, man. I think it's him showing that he's gonna be the best player in the world. He's been on this trajectory for a while. We already know people have been mentioning him low key, saying he's low key like LeBron, like James Harden, just so many different players. But he's Luka Doncic, and he's stepping up. And I think he's about to take the reign of best player in the world and the title of that this year. And I think Kyrie's gonna help him go along the ride. Last time we seen Kyrie win an NBA championship, that boy was going for 40 balls with Bron to go to Game 7 and win versus the Golden State Warriors. So I don't know. People think that I think Kyrie's going to be this guy. I heard today some people think Kyrie's going to do the other way where he's going to play like, oh, I know how to play with a team now. Look at me playing great with a team. I think he's going opposite. I'm coming into Boston. He said all the right things as he should. You know, he should have played better there, and he should have been a better leader, and all those things he already mentioned that he basically apologized for in a way. And, you know, special. And exactly, and they, you know, Jason Tatum, them are showing him love back. That he was a great person. It just didn't work out. Whatever, you know, people go through hard times in life, but they found their fit now. He's found his fit now. I think Kyrie Irving's gonna show y'all a time, and I know Drew Holiday's coming because he don't remember. He done did some work on him in the Bucks series. Yeah, I remember in the Nets, but this is different from now and then. He got a better crew around him. And I'm not saying Kevin Durant was on that team, so he had a good crew around him. Don't get me wrong. But he has a little deeper crew than around him. He has a maybe slightly better coach around him right now. And so I feel like Jason Kidd has been a player in this moment, and that's going to help be proven because he's making the necessary adjustments, and his coach staff has been great so far this postseason that they're going to make the adjustments to win this series. And the Celtics have been good, but I just don't think they're going to be good enough to beat this Luka Doncic-led team, and I feel like he's on the rise, and I just feel like it's going to be nip or tuck. It's like last year. If it's nip or tuck, give me Kyrie and Luka any day, all the money in the line, every which way.
All right, so far, the panel is split. Toddy got Celtics in 6. Garry has Mavs in 6. Kevin, break the tie. I'll obviously give my pick at the end. But Kevin, break the tie. Make a decision either way. And as some of you might have seen on YouTube, X, and Instagram,
Dallas takes game 1.
The notepad is back. The notepad is back.
Dallas takes game 1. Shaun, put it down in Boston.
Oh. All right. Dallas, okay. Get it on the notepad. I got you. But I got
don't be surprised if I pick every game this right to this.
We're not losing at home.
For my whole playoff run. Fuck up.
Hey, Garry, aren't you in third place in the pick'em?
I have no clue, dude. I damn gave up on that, dude. Shit,
okay, yeah, you gave up on making the right
first,
pick. So
I'm last, Shaun.
But you expect us, but you. All right, well, you're looking at the guy who's in first, so There you go. But hey, man, you were bragging a lot throughout NFL season, so I had to.
It took you about 100 episodes. Sheesh,
it sure did. It sure did.
Not the 100 episodes. 99 for being for sure.
100 episodes.
Hey, but guess who's on top now?
Yes, sir.
Anyways, Kevin, please break the tie. Who do you got in the NBA Finals, and tell us what you expect?
Sit back, Toddy, because I'm gonna break it down for you. So, like Garry mentioned, well, no, let me give Toddy the credit because we posted a clip today, and Toddy said verbatim, every game was the same. Pacers came up, got up big, and they pissed down their leg. Is Luka Doncic a Pacer? Kyrie Irving,
but on your head.
This ain't the same team, Toddy. You give them a lead, y'all packing the bags for game 2. So the Celtics are 2-0 versus the Pacers this year. I'm talking about the Pacers, the Mavericks this year. Jason Tatum's averaging 36 points, 10 rebounds, and shooting 50, 40, 85 splits. Jaylen Brown's averaging 30 points, 5 rebounds, and shooting 57% from the field. Luka and Kyrie in those games. Luka averaged 35, 15, and 12. Kyrie averaged 21, 5, and 3. It's going to come down to the other guys. Like Garry mentioned, the Derek Whites of the world, the P.J. Washingtons, the Derek Lively's, the Daniel Gaffords, Derek White, Porzingis, if he's even going to play, the Al Horfords of the world. What are the other guys going to do? Because all 4 of us know for however many games this series lasts, the 4 guys that I just mentioned and the 2 Jays and Luka and Kyrie are going to show up every game. So we know for a fact that they're going to show up for a game. So what are the other guys going to do? And I forgot to mention another guy named Drew Holiday. This is the first.
Champion.
You said who?
Champion. He's a champion.
Oh, I mean, yeah, we all got A's on group projects before, right? Anyways, moving on.
Whoa.
This is was he the reason they won?
Oh, he was a big part.
Was he the second reason they won?
He was a big part, Kev.
He wasn't second. So
he had that game-winning block and lob to fucking Giannis.
So we're talking about two plays in a 6-game series.
It matters.
But this is the first NBA, the Mavericks are the first team since 2010 Lakers to beat 3 50-plus win teams on their way to the playoffs. I know Garry mentioned it. The Celtics don't get to pick who they play. They're not out there hurting players, but let's call it what it is. Every round that they have played, they have missed their best player. There was no Jimmy Butler. There was no Donovan Mitchell. There was no Tyrese Halliburton. We saw Luka Doncic in the first two series.
Run first year real quick, Shaun. Remember that? All the point holders getting hurt anyways. It's me.
Yeah. So we've seen Luka kind of really get slow into the playoffs. The first two series, all you hear is his injuries that, injuries this. And we have seen Luka really come back. He's been playing more on that left leg, and you can see that he's getting back to his own self. Since February 5th, the two best teams in the NBA have been the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks. The Boston Celtics since February 5th, 26-6. The Dallas Mavericks, 24-9. This is the first NBA Finals since 2018 with two All-NBA players. Can you guys name me those two All-NBA players from 2018?
Kyrie,
Katie and Steph.
First team All-NBA. Excuse me. First team All-NBA.
Is not Katie and Steph? 2018.
Katie is one.
Kawhi Leonard.
No, 2018 was still Cavs and Warriors. Steph Curry.
No, so it's Katie and LeBron.
Oh, what the fuck?
I'm surprised no one named LeBron. Garry,
I thought you meant like on the same team.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I should log off for that, but Garry, you should be kicked out.
I'm not going to capture you, brother. I didn't hear it. I didn't want to repeat the question.
It's all good.
Luka Doncic has a chance to rewrite his name in history. The last scoring champ there's been a countless amount of scoring champs to win an NBA Finals, but in the last 10 years, there's only been one, and his name was Steph Curry. Steph Curry went in there and showed that he can carry it over from regular season to postseason, and I believe Luka Doncic is going to do the same thing. I believe that the Mavericks win this in 7. I really wanted to come in here and say 6, but there would be nothing to make my life better than Toddy saying, it's at home. We're not losing at home. Look at all the T-shirts, Kevin. They got the Lombardi in the locker room. And like Garry said, they got two mid-range hunters. And when everything comes onto it, number 7 for the Boston Celtics turned into Emmanuel Hansel, and we're going to rock. So I am going to take the Dallas Mavericks in 7. Unfortunately, it's Luka's time. I know Toddy said it's been their time for 8 years now. I think you finally hit your expiration date. It's time for you guys to play a legit team. Like I said, the Pacers and the Mavericks are not the same. They're not going to let you come back. In Game 4, the Pacers were up 10 points with 5 minutes left. Didn't score a single point for 5 minutes. That's not the Mavericks. So, Mavericks in 7.
Well.
Game 7, you know that.
Well, that makes it 2-1, and the 1 is a Boston Celtics fan. So, I don't know how much validity we can put with that. However, I'm not going to discredit his pick. It's now 2-1. That leaves it up to me. And if we include Kevin Dent Sr., that's 3-1 right now. So leaves it to me with my pick. And, even though I don't think that Derek White is the best player for the Celtics, as Toddy's cousin likes to joke with him, he's been extremely impressive throughout this playoff run. 17.8 points per game, 4.1 rebounds per game, 4.6 assists per game, 1.3 blocks, and with shooting percentages of 47, 41, 89, he leads the Celtics in blocks with 18. And I think part of the reason why he leads the Celtics in blocks is because Kristaps Porzingis has been MIA, missing in action, because he's been hurt. But as Toddy was saying, Porzingis is going to be back. It seems very likely that he'll be back. And as I've said numerous times on this podcast throughout the entire season, Kristaps Porzingis truly is the X factor for the Boston Celtics. And I think with his return, that the Celtics ultimately do win this series. As much as I would love to be a Toddy hater and pick against them, this is stats over politics after all. And I think that the Celtics
you pick
win
the
this
injured
series.
guy to come back and drop him in the finals and think he's going to do something?
He's not going to be a statue. I mean, what do you guys think is going to happen when he comes out? Like, he's just going to sit in the corner?
Dude, you don't just stop playing from the whole playoffs. Regular season. Mr. injured himself already.
So he's going to be a non-factor.
Drop Twigman. No, not to be disrespectful. Drop Twigman right into the finals. And guys who've been dunking on people all year, all playoff series long, Gafford and Lively playing real aggressive. And he just gonna walk up in there and just be up. I'm gonna get 30 minutes per game. I'm gonna get back to my 20 and 10. He's going right back to that. Really? All right.
Yeah, really, because you just mentioned Derek Lively, who's hurt.
Derek Lively, 100. The worst takes.
Oh, I got you, but I mean, Gary, you're talking about the worst takes. You're trying to come after me, but you just mentioned Derek Lively, who's hurt, and Derek Lively probably won't even be playing in this series.
But his injury he wasn't out all playoff. He literally missed one game, Shaun. One game.
Yeah, and now he's gonna miss the rest of the regular season or the rest of the playoff run.
That's fine, but I'm not talking about players there. Talking about players who aren't there.
But your whole argument. My
argument is you're not dropping some guy who's hasn't played all year into the finals and saying, yeah, bro, go 100 now all of a sudden.
It wasn't all year.
That's literally from 0 to
100. Playoffs, so he's missed the majority.
What games did he play in the playoffs?
He played in the playoffs. He played.
Where? Who did he play?
He played in he played like 2 or 3 games.
Man, I think he might have played one
series. Did he though, Toddy? Did he play in that Heat series? I don't
really
recall.
Kev, do you know? Did he play a game?
I don't think.
I know he's been out for a minute, man. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying he won't make impact. He's an all-star type player. He's a really great player. He can spread the floor. He's gonna make threes, all the head, the whole nine. I just really wanted that. Like his impact would have been really great if he was there the whole run. Then I can see his impact being great, as Shaun mentioned. But I don't think his impact's gonna be that big where you just drop him in there. He's going to get you 20 and 10 back again in the finals. I don't know. I just don't feel like, especially been keeping out this long. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see, Shaun. But I just don't feel he's not that big of he's going to be that big of a factor.
Before you pick it back up, Shaun, Gary, I'm going to need you to stand back on this Derek Lively shit because I don't know what Shaun was saying. He's itching closer. He's going to play. He's not going to miss the whole series.
I was wondering that too. I don't know. The whole series, bro? I know
he's not going to miss the whole series. Maybe a game at most, but he's definitely got to play. Because you know why?
Arms and legs work, brother.
Where did he go to school, Toddy? Where did Derek Lively go to school?
Duke.
Okay. This is the big – hey, man. This is the Duke show. You think he's not going to show up to the party?
Oh, my God.
Well, I hope that Derek Lively is able to play because I really have enjoyed the story of him honoring his mother throughout this playoff run. And so I really hope that he is able to play. But Gary, you said, oh, yeah, he has arms and legs. But let's not forget, like, that's all connected to the neck.
Porzingis played in the Heat series.
Okay. Thank you, Jaevon. So there you go.
How many games?
4.
4 games?
Right, played 4 games.
For sure.
So there you go. Jaevon hit the nail on the head that Porzingis has actually played in this playoff run. But, Gary, the whole crux of my argument is Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they are going to get theirs, just like Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic are going to get theirs. And I think so. In my opinion, they will. Yes, Jason Tatum will. Okay. Everyone wants to hate on Jason Tatum.
No, I'm the one who literally said he deserves less hate earlier. I literally said that.
But now when
I just feel like he's not going to be getting the top-notch level just yet. You might get what he's averaging in the playoffs, 26, but you might need 30.
Okay, well, to me, it sounds like you're contradicting yourself because I just said.
No, I'm saying he's going to be great, but is he going to be over the top great to win the championship? That's what I'm saying.
Well, what I was trying to say is that all I said was a very blanket statement that Tatum and Brown are going to get theirs, Doncic and Irving are going to get theirs. And so then you look to the remaining players. I have a lot more faith in a Drew Holiday, a Derek White, and yes, Gary, a Kristaps Porzingis than I do.
Horford. Don't even forget him too.
And Horford. And thank you very much because the whole time that
and
Gary
I'd rather take PJ Washington, DJ Jones, Gafford, Lively, Kleba, Hardaway, every Exum. I'm gonna take the whole Jason Kidd film on the floor.
You had me, then you Exum and.
Exum hit a big 3 against us, Ken. Missed all damn game. Hit a big 3 against us. Ended our season, boy. I don't know if you remember that shot.
I will say this: we have seen Kyrie Irving disappear. He kind of took a series off in the OKC Thunder series, and I'm not saying that that's capable of happening in this series, but it's something to watch out for. It's definitely something to watch out for.
Oh my gosh, Shaun, you just teed it up for me. I'm sorry, Shaun. So. Gary, what did Shaun say that those two always show up, right? He said they're going to show up, right? So let's rewind time 2 years ago to the NBA Finals.
2 years ago.
Jaylen Brown, 24 points, shooting 40% from the
different
field.
team,
Whoa. He just said the players. He didn't say nothing about nothing but us. And then we have Jason Tatum, 20 points, and he shot 36% from the field. So they always show up, right? They were up 2-0 in that one, right, Gary? Or am I confused? We've seen this team.
And I was going for them. They broke my heart.
We've seen this team get to the top, and we've seen them crumble. We've seen the pressure get a little too much. The year before that, we saw Jimmy at Game 7. We've seen this team get to the top. They're right there. They're like the Niners. They get the sweatsuits, and they're like, oh, it's over. We're here. And then they just forget to show up. And I know we haven't seen Luke in the finals, but he's not going to digress like they did in the finals. And I know this is the Warriors we're talking about, but I think they're going to show that so the pressure gets hot, So we're going to have to see. But I was just having a rebuttal to Shaun saying that they always show up because we've seen them here and they went home with nothing.
We're tied 2-2. It's going to be a great series, man.
And we can't do that with Luka Doncic because obviously he hasn't been in the NBA Finals yet. As we know, Luka Doncic is like at the very top of playoff scorers in the last 5 years. Yeah. So I did have it in my head correctly.
Defensive players of the year.
As we know, Luka Doncic leads the NBA in playoff points over the last 5 years. He's averaged 31.1 points per game in 45 games. That's more than Dame, KD, Donovan Mitchell, and they are the only players to average 30 points per game in the playoffs over the last 5 years.
And Shaun,
so we know Luka. What's up?
And just to piggyback on that real quick, and I think he played the Clippers 3 times now, and they had Kawhi and PG, quote unquote, the two best two-wing players every one of those series, and they've lost 2 of those, but goddamn, they learned a Luka lesson for sure.
Yeah, well, Kawhi wasn't there this year, and so I mentioned Luka Doncic because as Mr. Mako makes an appearance,
bam,
he has to grab with a Celtic fan.
Yep. Toddy had to even the score with Kevin Denton.
I was gonna say we're gonna say Celtics and see if he makes noise. We're gonna say Mavericks, see if he makes noise. But I know Bond during Celtics started and shit.
And so we know that Luka Doncic has historically, since we're stats over politics, we're referencing back on previous stats. Luka Doncic has historically performed throughout the playoffs, and my whole point in explaining all of that is Kevin, you want to look back at 2022 at Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, but we could do that same thing for Kyrie Irving of 4 finals appearances, except for 1 year. 2016 is the year that he was up there in the high 20s, maybe low 30s. But if you look at 2015, 2015 he got hurt. Kyrie got hurt in game 1, and so he didn't play through most of that series. But 2017. 2018, I don't think that his numbers were nearly what they were in 2016. You can fact check me, Kevin, because I see the look on your face.
13 playoff or 13 NBA Finals games in his career. 28 points, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds.
That's not my point. That's not my point. I was talking about specific years. You can have 2016 inflate those stats, but what were the stats in 2015? What were the stats in 2017?
I got them for you right here.
I'm talking about Kyrie.
Yeah,
that's
so
saying that.
Oh, these are by games. Hold on, let me get my series.
It's disrespectful, Shaun. Don't you think? 65% and 34%. People are betting, or I don't know what they're doing to think that.
That's Gary. That is ESPN's FPI. That is
Oh.
their FPI. That's their analytics.
Made up magic numbers.
Yeah. So they're still favored by 6.5. Game 1.
We are the favorites.
That's game 1, and so Gary, I already got you on the notepad. Mavs will win game 1 in Boston.
Yeah.
But real quickly, just to close out,
I'll say that the game's probably gonna be closer. I don't know. I
agree.
Vaughn, I'm in the mood to make some money. You want to bet on the series? What's up, brother?
You want to bet me?
Yeah, I want to bet you. Yeah, I want to bet you.
Me? Son, me?
I bet Shaun too. Shaun, put $50 in there. Go ahead.
Nah, that ain't my team. You got me fucked
we'll
up.
We'll go 50-50, me and Kev, for both of y'all.
I'm good.
100.
I'm good.
I ain't got money.
I ain't got money to risk. I ain't got money to risk like that.
All right.
I'll bet you 50, Gary.
All right, 50. I got Dallas, obviously.
All right,
Love
sounds good. We got it. We got it right here on Stats Over Politics. Virtual shake right there. And so just to close out my quick preview of these
So I
NBA
feel like this
finals.
boy been everything.
Yes, we have discussed the impending return of Kristaps Porzingis, but if Al Horford has to be the big man for the Boston Celtics, they might not be that far off from what Porzingis might bring in, because if you look at the highest three-point percentage by a Celtic in the playoffs with a minimum of 200 three-point attempts, Derek White is shooting nearly 40% at 39.9. Al Horford is very close at 39.6. You guys know who's third on that list behind Derek White and Al Horford? And this is with a minimum of 200 three-point attempts. So it's not a small sample size. But Derek White, nearly 40%. Al Horford, 39.6. Any guesses who's third on that list of Celtics all-time three-point shooters? This isn't Shaun's pop quiz, but any guesses?